What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth. Please like and subscribe. It's all that is appreciated. But I got a lot to talk about with this one. So the other day, Mos Def was being interviewed, and he was asked if he thought Drake was hip hop, and Mos Def responded by saying that Drake is pop, and that he associated him more with the type of music that they play in Target, which was kind of funny. And all this caused the uproar on social media. But let me know in the comment section, do you consider Drake to be hip hop? Was the mighty Mos Def accurate, or was he bugging slightly? I will say that the statement from Mos Def, who is a legend by the way, was amusing, and there was a little bit of truth to it, but I don't think it was entirely accurate. Now, had maybe the interviewer pushed back and asked Mos Def like an additional question about Drake's rapping ability, then it might have gone differently. So while I think that Drake could be looked at as a pop star, he's just as much a hip hop head, whether you like him or not. I know Drake found a pop rap lane early on, but you can tell that he loves hip hop. And I have to point out that pop rap, or hip hop, as some may call it, is actually a subgenre in hip hop. It's a real thing, like jazz rap, coke rap, etc. And if we are really being real with ourselves, there are quite a few of our favorite rappers who could at some point be lumped into that pop rap category, because of certain songs they may have did, which had crossover appeal. Yes, some of our favorite artists who are super lyrical, they've done this. So I guess the question becomes, what is the criteria for who is considered hip hop? Hip hop is so vast now, with so many different subgenres, that's really challenging to narrow it down to what is real hip hop at this point, unlike what it may have been back in the early to mid 90s. If you want to get technical, and if you want to be of the super purist mind state, then you could even go as far as saying that unless a rapper is practicing the four elements of hip hop, then they can't be considered hip hop. And that's going to exclude mostly all rappers at this point, because not too many are thinking about, those four elements when recording music today, especially for these cats who are under 30. It's just not happening. Does that make it right? No, they probably should know about the four elements, but it's just the reality. So let's be real here too. And I love Mos Def, and as pure as he is as an artist, he did sing at times also, and he had some experimental abstract projects that didn't quite have the traditional feel of a project like, let's say, Black on Both Sides, which is a classic, or even some of his other raucous material. That being said, though, I feel it's really important to understand the mindset that Mos Def and a lot of rappers who came up in the early to mid 90s had. At this time, I specifically remember there being an anti R&B, anti pop, and anti commercial sentiment in hip hop. Looking back on it, we may tend to forget that the 90s also had some commercial garbage polluting the airwaves too. Rappers like Tribe, De La, The Roots, J. Brew the Damager, Boot Camp Click, EPMD, even Mobb Deep, Common, Wu-Tang, and I have to say Ice Cube, were all at one point speaking out against what they deemed to be watered down hip hop, or R&B, or that rapping bullshit, as they called it. Yes, this was a thing. Boot Camp Click even said commercial raps get the gun clap. Q-Tip said rap is not pop. If you call it that, then stop. And Cube even said you can New Jack swang off these nuts. So I brought that up to offer a little bit of context into the mindset that Mos Def was likely coming from when he responded to that question. But you also have to acknowledge that at some point, some of the aforementioned artists ended up even doing a commercial song or two. They had an R&B hook or two at some point in their respective careers. But getting right back into Drizzy Drake, he is a very easy target to hate on, I know. But I think if you actually listen to the man's body of work and you get past what he may represent to you, and if you just give his music a chance, then you will recognize that he's not strictly a pop artist, just like Nicki Minaj and Kanye aren't strictly pop either. But with Drake, I get it. He does a lot of pop, probably more than most. And there's some Drake music that I'm not rocking with. But there's another side to Drake. When Drake gets in his rapping bag heavy, that Drake, the kind of Drake that rapped over a primo beat, he rapped over the same sample AZ and Nas used for Mo Money, Mo Murder. Drake has also given countless shout outs to Wu-Tang. He sampled very obscure Houston and obscure Memphis rap. He even bigged up Fonte before, or perhaps maybe they did a track together. Drake also has those timestamp location songs, which always just screamed hip hop to me. He's also recently worked with Conductor Williams as well as Griselda, and I'm sure I could go on to list some more hip hop credentials. But the reality is, hip hop it's evolved so much since the 90s, and to some that hasn't been a good thing, especially if you are more of the purist mindset. And there's nothing wrong with being a purist. As I personally get older, I still prefer traditional hip hop. It is what it is, meaning I like straightforward rapping. But at that same time, I'm also able to recognize that that lane doesn't encompass all of what hip hop is, especially when considering that there has always been an element of party rap or fun rap or pop rap to hip hop since the earliest days. It wasn't always as hardcore or super lyrical, even if that is what you may prefer. And to keep it a buck, I personally, Mixtape Moth had a limited view of what hip hop was, mainly because I hadn't connected with people from other regions, and I was basing everything off the Hip Hop Bible at the time, the Source magazine, and their microphone system. As a result of basing so much off the Source, I missed out on some great hip hop albums, and I did become a bit judgmental, real talk, about what I thought hip hop is supposed to sound like. But as I got older and I like to think wiser, I wanted to have more of a comprehensive understanding of hip hop as a whole. And I think in an attempt for one to be a hip hop historian or a hip hop history buff, one should strive for that as well. And that is one of the goals of this channel. It's for me to try to find that balance and to look at the big picture of it all, even though at the end of the day, traditional 90s style rap will always be my go-to favorite. Also, I just don't want to be that guy telling young kids that they don't know hip hop because they listen to 21 Savage or Drake. Maybe that was their introduction to hip hop. Just maybe they didn't have the luxury of listening to Rakim, Gangstar, or Wu-Tang. So you can have your opinion, and you may feel that Drake is trash. He's not hip hop. That's fine. But I am asking, if you do have that opinion, that you think about what the OGs and the elder statesmen in hip hop culture, what they should do to preserve it. And also, what do you think should be done to make traditional rap more appealing to the youth? This is not a problem in underground hip hop, but it is in the mainstream. Although Nas clearly has understood the assignment since about 2020 when he linked with Hit Boy. But he's just one man at age 50, so he can only do so much. But let me know your thoughts below. As always, it's peace and blessings. I'm signing out. One.